You mentioned that now we have two Johanneses. One is engineer that works on the corporate side. The other one is a community guy. But do you think which one involved another the most? Like, are your community talks, community engagements involved on how you structure your job on the main career, or
Good
like
question. Yeah.
otherwise?
So I would say there was a time when these two personalities existed beside each other and they were not talking to each other at all. So this means in the community work, I was doing stuff that I was not doing at work because of certain reasons. I was strictly dividing that.
Mm-hmm.
In the past few months, since I changed my role in the organization, I can see more and more benefit coming from the community Johannes to the corporate Johannes, because I can see that stuff that I learned through my community work is helping me in my day job. Stuff that connections or network that I created through the community work is helping me for my day job as well, because I have experts to ask questions to, because I'm learning new things in my new role. So at the moment, I would say the organization Johannes benefits more from the community work than the community Johannes benefits from the organization work. And that might change again, right? Who knows?
But Johannes, how important is, for the people in mind, that a guy who is starting, how important is for these guys to be part of the community? Because the community is something that is there for many, many years, but these days you can see that it's something super huge, and not everyone is in the community, and but what is the difference between if you are
What is the difference? That's an interesting question. I can tell you what the difference for me is, and there is a lot of things that make the community important for me, but it varies from person to person on what it helps you or what it brings for you, right? I think so. For me, the AWS community as a whole means whenever I go on a travel somewhere, I look if there is an AWS user group, and if there is one, I look if there is a user group leader that I can ask questions. My latest trip with the family, I went somewhere, right? And I didn't know much about the country where I went. I reached out to the local user group leader, the local community leader, and asked him a few stupid questions. And he gave me great answers, right? Next time I'm going to visit you on your little island, Pablo, I'm also going to see if I can see that user group that you have locally. So it means for me having people that I kind of can trust with globally, and people that I can also ask with any kind of questions. And this is more than just technical from my perspective. Things like, and I have this beautiful stickers, which you only get if you participate in the pre-invent hike 2022, and I have the one from 2023. That's an initiative I created, which means before the biggest conference the best conference in the world, on the Sunday we get together and we go out for hiking, right? Which is really just having friends globally that you can interact with and that you can talk with. That give you a sense of belonging somehow. At least that's what it means to me.
The closest example, I'm sorry, Kirill. The closest example that reminiscence to why those communities are important, I think like a scientific community. When scientists get together to discuss some problems, you can imagine a scientist working in isolation, but without communicating with other scientists, and he hardly will make any major discoveries. Whilst if he joins the community and talk to them and share their thoughts and opinions, he can do much more.
Yeah, and I think that also what community can mean multiple things, right? If you start in getting into the community, it can be just reading, reposting, or commenting on blog posts or on activities on social. We don't need to be doing much more. You could also just participate in open source projects by creating stories or issues there, right? Not even actively contributing, but that also creates a sense of belonging to that part of the community that you're getting involved with, right? Not everyone is as vocal as I am, so you don't need to be a speaker. You don't need to be a content creator to be part of the community. You can also just have one-on-one conversations, right? What can it help you? That is, for me, very simple. I built out in my head, and I have some notes about who is an expert on which topics. AWS has over 250 services. You cannot be an expert in all services, but you get to know through the community people that are experts in certain topics, and those are the ones that you can then ask if you have something that you're really struggling with, like a lambda function always starting and doing something wrong. I would know. I'm going to ask this person. If it's in Python, I might be going to Ran. If it's in TypeScript, I might be going to Pubudu or whoever, right? But I have in my head specialists and experts for different topics that I can reach out to. And I think that's what the community can also bring you, access to experts that know specific topics very well because they have worked with them. And that's how I use the community as well, Pablo, if that makes sense.
For juniors, community is especially important. I'm just thinking about when I was starting out with backend development with Ruby, how big of an influence Google groups of Ruby developers back in Russia was like helping me a lot, because even if I don't participate actively, just reading through all the posts, you kind of get an idea of what kind of jobs exist, what kind of issues people have that you won't normally get from just reading documentation. So it's a great chance to basically navigate yourself in this new professional space and potentially also get the first jobs there. Because in many cases, like you're part of a community and then one guy says like, oh, we need a junior developer for this project, or we need a new DevOps guy for another project. And then it's a perfect entry. And I think it's important because I feel like after, like once you're senior enough, it's easy to lose an interest in community because if you like, I already know everything, I can get all the information from blog posts, official announcements. I don't really need to participate in community. So it's super important that people like you, Johannes, in general, like more senior people participate in community, even though professionally maybe there is less benefits than for juniors, but you need to keep in mind that this community is crucial for building also the new generation of engineers.
Yeah, that is true. But also don't underestimate what the community can help you personally with, right? Because the more senior you get, also the more influential you become, right? So the more you can influence what is happening in the community, the more you can help also with setting directions of something that we want to do, right? And this, I think, as an example, right? Look at Luke van Donkersgood's post around AWS doing GenAI, which got like 100,000 views or whatever within a few days. He's become kind of a voice of something that has been grumbling in the community for a while, and it has forced some reactions, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what that kind of stuff is, I think, what makes you what makes the community effort and what makes it important to keep being part of it at the end, even if you grow your career. And also, if you're more senior, your challenges grow. That means your challenges become bigger and more detailed. So you still need access to more detailed and better experts to help you, right? And this can be as close as, and you asked me at the beginning, Leo, what's one of the benefits that you see from the Heroes program and from being part of it? Well, you get the possibility to talk to service team members a little bit better than maybe someone else. So that's one of the big benefits that I see, right? So if I have a problem in Code Catalyst, then I know who to reach out to. I know who to talk. I know the service team member who has actually built the code. And I can ask him, can you change this for me? Or can you explain to me why it works like that? And that's a very good thing as well. So,
but don't you think that this kind of involvement, especially the involvement from the seniors, and when you, as you said, you get access to AWS support directly, like, and do you think this influences the evolution of engineering and DevOps landscape directly when you are able to talk to them and to present some technologies? How do you perceive this evolution of cloud technologies?
So I know of multiple things that have changed because of feedback that we have given as heroes. So I know that we have a direct impact on how technologies are built. I know that we can influence how roadmaps are being done. right?
Do you can you share like particular?
I would say so. Something I can talk about that is already public is last year AWS announced Amazon Q, especially Amazon Q in the console, all right, where you have the possibility to do chats and ask questions to a GenAI chatbot. I think I can say that we have had access to Q since September last year, and it was announced at reInvent. So we have had access to better opportunities to give feedback to that. And when Q was first released to the heroes in September, the overwhelming feedback was, don't release it. It's not going to work. It's completely off track. We gave feedback on how to, sorry, go ahead, Pablo.
No, sorry, Johannes. Don't you think, because it's something that I always was thinking about that, don't you think that this is something like, because it's the same that, for example, when you pay 200 euros for a t-shirt with a logo of, imagine, Lacoste, and you have a huge Lacoste logo, no? And don't you think that at the end, AWS in this case, is getting thousands of people working for free?
Good point. Yes.
You know, because at the end is, okay, I love AWS. Everyone is with this t-shirt of AWS. I am a superhero of AWS. Stickers AWS. At the end, it's something like for AWS side, it's something super beneficial, no?
I've heard that multiple times. Yes. And I think the answer to that is, as soon as you let AWS dictate what you're doing, that might be the situation. But no one tells you what to do, and you only get involved in the stuff that you're interested in. That means, as an example, Q, I spent like half an hour to tell them that's not working, but it was still cool to know about what's coming. And I gave that feedback. But that's because I was interested myself in it, and I can also take some benefit out of it for myself. Another example is the involvement for me personally in Code Catalyst, right? I really think that service is something that would help a lot if it would change in some things, right? So all of the stuff that I do with Code Catalyst is my own interest in it, in my own dedication. It's not like I do this for AWS. I do this because I see a value for myself as an engineer to get things like this working together better, right? And that's also all of the other involvements that I do. So I don't let anyone from AWS tell me, Johannes, can you please do this? Johannes, can you please write about this? Or Johannes, can you do something? No, AWS, the moment that someone from AWS tries to influence me or tries to tell me what to write, I take an email, I send it to my program manager, and then tell them, this person has tried to influence me and tell me what to do. Can you please talk to him or her, right? Because that shouldn't happen. That's not what the hero program is for. And it happened to me twice this year already, right? And that person got beaten up every time.